Stay with the agenda. Attendance, I've already looked at the attendance and the also.
Keep wanting to grab your phone.
Kelsey,
Yeah, I just texted her.
okay? Eight. So, site is, certified.
See, we did not talk about resurfacing the trail at North Point. We talked about resurfacing Rick's report. So I think that there was a glitch there.
There's it. So, let me pull up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what sounded so much for idea. You know.
Is it working today?
This was the 1 month.
I tried to give you a break.
Okay, so Michelle, where is it?
I'm trying to pull it back up
Well, I
again.
have it right in front of us here.
At the very end, I think.
Rick requested a first point study that he completed next meeting.
It's not it.
So under new single point parking trail resurfacing.
Thank you. I can't. Find it on that little tiny.
You fine?
Yeah, so we're saying just delete them because we also have above them.
I believe just for like half my knowledge, I believe next year would be the third year, either because it's like every 3 years,
Yeah, or is the,
2026.
all right, is there a motion to approve the minutes with the edit suggested by Michelle?
I would move.
Second. All in favor? Yes. To the agenda. See, good agendas right next to Tyler. Agendas, there's a bunch of green, and those are the things that came at me and that weren't even in the agenda that you saw 2 days ago. So if anybody needs one, it's there. Those are.
I'll get you one, Frank.
Oh, okay, I think that's the master, Rick, that's two-sided. Rick's got a bunch of copies here. If anybody in the audience needs a book, you can get your own. There you go. There you go. Some correspondence, one about business that does repair swing sets and that kind of thing. Do we have any of that stuff in any of our parks? Any?
The township does not.
Maybe they. Shelley is going to attending our last several meetings, Shelley Miller, and so why don't you just join? She applied. This went to us and also to Jennifer. Board has not actually updated the laws at this point. Cindy, that the screen. As soon as they should discuss doing this, and the question I have for the group is, when we have someone who applies for Parks and Rec, should we do this like any business where 2 or 3 of us do an interview? This open discussion of.
Discourage anybody.
I know that, but I'm gonna bust my begin urging people to join, so I'd like to have a process in place. And to me, I mean, right, she applied, oh yeah, But then again, I mean, that's the bricks. You know the zip code. So. That's right. So no more discussion about. It's the only thing that was on there. Keep it, so we start to say with coverage again, we lose the minutes.
Thing that I brought up, I've seen it in other places. I did not accomplish it because I didn't really feel that we made a firm decision.
One of the things that. See. We never had. Stuff and I. Contributed them. Should I just drop that as a?
It's up to the committee. If somebody wants me to make it happen, I'll make it happen. I think it's a nice idea to have something where we can say your tax dollars at work or whatever the phrasing is.
Where would it be?
You put it wherever it is. So when your new, when you get the new spots for
Oh,
Langland,
this
you
is-
there and say your tax dollars at work, Onekama Township Parks.
So you're buying a sign that we will put somewhere when we do something.
Well, that's up to the committee. I don't know if we think that's
Thank you.
cost you less than $30.
Get the sign, Michelle. Where
do we
would
need-
we put it?
You put it, whenever you do something, you temporarily put it out near that something. If we buy a new bench, we put it near the bench. If we put in extra walkway at Langland, we put it there. And then you have a QR code that takes it to the spot that Vic wants to have accomplishments on.
Example. Tell that. Improvements here to formalize the parking. So, base for. So we. Students.
With a sign in for
Ready, oh,
2-3 weeks. Whatever. It's just a matter of calling Sally, so
this sign.
1 or 2, you said a couple? Does anybody have another beautiful project, a completed project? Complete. Okay.
In the wording. Should some words together.
Sand that's in the parking lot can be hauled away by anybody.
Absolutely.
Okay, we knew that for some reason somehow someone started talking that you couldn't do that. It can't be put. That's what it can't be. The beach. This is the. Same. Okay, so, yeah. Eagle. Same. some sand, like for whatever reason.
So Ed told me that he was in the process of making that.
Somebody, but there's way more than, but. Is it?
Conversation I had, with him, he told me the way, he said. Say, first come, first served, if people go out there and start picking up sand, do we really want that to happen?
I'd like it to get out of there, see where
Oh,
it's
oh,
at.
yeah, no, I'd like it to get out of there,
Right in
too,
the
but
middle of
if the village wants it, they have, you know, they could have too that say, you know, where they have to get their sand.
That I don't.
So David, just for clarification, it's anything on the parking.
Parking lot, you can't dig into the dunes. Yeah. It has
Oh,
to be on, has to be on what is a hard surface there already.
Because if you look at the edge where that parking ramp is, I can see people shoveling additional sand.
So it has to be covering, it was accessible before, but now has sand.
So there's, I mean, Michelle gave me this little thing here, on all the Eagle official rules, so I mean, if we're gonna allow people to go out there and just take it, catch as catch can, I think we need to cover ourselves by making sure that we've got the proper documentation on the site. For right now, I was told by the treasurer that it's gonna go away. I mean, if you and I wanna talk to Ed, once you get clarification, then we can.
I'm just saying, but the rule about that it can't be put in, that's the rule. It can be hauled away. The comments were made that nobody could even haul it away. We knew
But
different.
I don't know who this came up, and
You could put that in news and announcements when you have the decision made.
right. Make a decision though, because right now people could be interpreting this as a free, so don't want it to be a free for all. Want nothing to happen until an official decision is made by the township. You know, we'll advise as a result of this. Okay. Village, township, joint efforts, unless I missed something. Nikki, Michelle, anything going on?
Well, I did call Mickey in a panic last Wednesday morning, to see if we could get the field trip moved to the Far Center. It didn't work out, but it did work out really well in the thing. He was right there, ready to help.
I answered the phone.
It's seven in the morning.
That is a key.
I answered the phone, so, yeah.
Black history. The plaque is up. The plaque that was 4 years in the making is up. Please go by. I sat down with the other people in the History Association last week, and I have a letter ready to go out to all of the business owners or owners of the other buildings in the tour. And I will be getting that out in the next 2 weeks. And hopefully we'll start moving on the rest of them.
Notifications. And when you click notifications, it will ask you what kind of notifications do you want. And in the event. And all this sort of stuff. And what these this committee know what we're sending out to the world on your behalf. So as a result of like you'll see down here, I'm putting all of Michelle's events, and then when we get some really good press, I put that in there and so on and so forth. I just think it's a good idea that when somebody tells you what a great job you're doing, you ought to know, right? So please sign up for notifications if you would. And then the other thing is as we come to this meeting and we get to education program, urban, you're gonna see a lot of the stuff that's been happening because all of her events are putting up there. And I'm trying to figure out 1 week before every to do a teaser, and then the day of the event of the day before, come on up, you have to sit with us, even though it's gonna be an uncomfortable chair. Be careful because. So Mr. Al Chelsea is joining us.
I'm sorry I'm late.
That's fine. Michelle, is there anything else on the education program? I mean, I've got a lot of things here listed, disability network, et cetera. Do you wanna walk?
Wait a minute, I wanted to back up and let you know that I went through back to 2021 when we started using Outlook 365, or maybe even a little before. I started as a part of the registration. I said, would you like to be contacted by Parks and Rec in the future? Anyone since 2021 who clicked yes. I met with Ed, and we now have 198 distinct emails that we can backdoor subscribe to those notifications. So that should get us something pretty good. I emailed you and Ed last night. I don't think he's done anything since 11, but I have
So you've
190,
given him the list of.
and you're copied in on it too.
Okay,
So-
So I've seen that.
And hopefully you guys saw somewhere, either in the Manistee News Advocate or in the notifications, that we had a little bit of a glitch last Wednesday after about 6 months of preparation. The day came for the field trip and it was horrible. Very last minute, we were able to scramble and move the field trip for the mainstream kids inside. And it went beautifully, and we got a really nice email back from the principal saying it was very professional, organized, and please come back anytime. So we actually brought North Point. Chelsea was one of the volunteers. We brought North Point Park in, including spiders and roly-polies and sand and everything, and it was just a beautiful morning. The intermediate school district was able to postpone to this Wednesday, and that field trip also went very well. In addition to that, the framework of those field trips, we put flyers out. It was a new type of event where we did a self-guided event in North Point Park. And we got a lot of positive Facebook coverage from that, where people, and I gave you I don't know if you can show the video really quickly that I sent you.
Can't put. We've got so much to talk about.
Yeah, okay, anyway, if, I have an email, I mean, I have a video, I did a time lapse in about 10 seconds, you get to see the whole
You
thing.
can send that team and let them do that.
Okay, I'll do that. But it was really well received. We covered the entire area with chalk, and then last night beautifully it rained and it's all cleaned. No, it's okay. It is a temporary thing. We pulled the signs, we put everything away, and so much fun. We're definitely doing something like that again. That's been our only field trip. We do have some upcoming events. I want to explain the pop-up. So the gals usually know what a pop-up is, because that's like something that just happens very quickly and spontaneously and temporarily. And so we have an event called Kids and Kites, which was normally a date assigned, but then you can have no wind and no people. So a pop-up simply means that Jean is going to watch the weather and watch the busyness of the town. And she will, one day before she plans to go out with all the kites, put an email blast. We can do an email blast, and she'll do a Facebook blast, and then it'll pop. So it's not pre-scheduled. We have two up events scheduled, if that makes any sense. One in June, one in July for sure, and we may do more depending upon the availability of Jean and myself. Does anybody have any questions about pop-up? I know Vic was confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. And truthfully, I think that format for these events is gonna work the best. Last year, when we did the Family Fun Day, nobody signed up. And then the day came, I went out there, it was a beautiful day anyway, and we got 40. But really. Just real quick, I wanted to let everybody know that I was in touch with Disability Network, and it looks like next Thursday, or no, I'm sorry, week from Thursday or Friday, they're going to be coming down, and they can do pass through, or they can do a report. That you get one report per community, I think per year or something like that. They now have said that they'll do both Langland and North Point. and Carden and Feldak, although I thought Feldak was gonna be done and it's not. But anyway, they'll come out and Disability Network comes out, they take a look at the property and they have, experts who are trained to tell you how to improve the property to make it more accessible. And they can actually give you a written report. And with that, then in addition to the report, they will also write you a letter of support for grants. And she works very closely with Michigan Department of Natural Resources and says that those letters carry a lot of weight. And I wanted to mention to Rick that it carries even more weight if in the early stages of the projects that you get them involved and they can help with advising along the way. So if we were to proceed, say, from the boardwalk, get them involved now. I mean, I've mentioned the park to them and I've mentioned Traverse to them, but they won't be able to go out and walk. But the point is that, this could get you a couple of points on a grant application that could put you over the edge. And they're really nice people. Yes. Now, if there were to be, if they come out and they see the parks and they're like, oh, the report's larger than we anticipated, the fee is $100. Does anybody have any concerns about a fee of $100? That's it for that.
You wanted to.
I just wanted to, Ryan sent me a text one day with all the birds that he saw. And I was so impressed. I thought it was really important for the committee to see what kind of activity takes place during the bird walks. Look at the list that, I put it up there. Those are all the birds that they saw at one of the,
Grouse too?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Interesting.
We do. Spring, a couple of, 4 arcade.
you have not been to one of Brian's bird walks.
Yeah, I just-
I would say that that should be mandatory for the committee. Because
It's got a photo.
Did you actually see them?
A lot of them I hear, so I tell the people, like, it's interesting, because you get this group of people out there, and my goal is want to find something. So that, not a warbler or something. All people out there, they see a goldfinch, and the bright, they're like, my gosh, that's the greatest thing ever, so. Ways to try to get them on and everything like that, that's what they. So I'll go out there and I'll go, I didn't see anything good, this isn't random. And tagged around, and then I asked them, I go, oh, this was great, I've seen some of the stuff, they always love it, so it works out really well, a lot of people. So. The real appreciative. A lot of people say, never been to North Point Park, didn't know trails were here, I didn't know this meadow was here, there's forest, birds that show up, and so it turns a lot of people on. So,
the YouTube.
look, glad it's there. It's really handy.
The next one would be the parks update, the cleanup day went very well, it was well attended. Did you attend? Yeah, I'm sore afterwards, Brian put me to work in the field at North Point.
I was up at the cemetery and, kids were great. I mean, we got a lot of work done and it was a real good day.
So the cleanup was actually separate from the one Onekama. The one Onekama, the kids came in and planted 50 cedars in the cedar lowland. A couple years ago, Josh walked the park with me and he said, you really need to start protecting the babies and planting more. So we got 50 in there and Jean's so thrilled with it. The kids really started to identify, they really dug in, if you will, to the project. And she thinks that they'll probably do it again per year until we have the place filled up. And the key is that it's that, according to Angie Bowman, when she did her analysis, biological analysis of that's an important little lowland there. We can't hunt the hunting was an option at one point in the park. That's not gonna happen. So now instead we're planting trees and protecting.
Yeah. Mhm.
One quick question about the water, those seedlings. After spending 3 hours and 1 gallon jugs helping out Jean.
Just to let them die.
Oh, but is there,
Yes.
that's still on the
There
agenda
are-
for the future because that was
We're
even more
waiting.
sore than Colleen.
Jean has pursued estimates from, well, we already had one estimate, she pursued 3 more estimates for irrigation. She's in the process. Yes, irrigation is, the water is there, waiting.
One of the-
It's the meeting. I was with grandchild, I didn't get to the meeting.
So just, some budget items I'll go through, I want to spend 5 minutes on the green. CCF grants, I mean, they're giving away money to people that are asking, we're not. So, that's one of the things that's frustrated me for the last several years, and so then that's why we have the budget for a grant writer. And so, we've talked about doing grants for Glen and Eagle View. I think there's controversy at Glen because of the unresolved issue with easements versus a $100,000 bridge. But
Dave left, I was hoping to ask him about it.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
hoping to ask you about that myself.
Well, there's nothing stopping you from asking him that. You. Pushing, because I don't think we're gonna get the board to approve $100,000 when I don't think we really fully push the owners to say, give us an easement. I mean, we'll pay for it. You'll get a tax break. I mean, there's things to do. And I have friends that are donors, a significant piece of property would be happy to talk to them, talk about beauty of easements and such. But anyway, you can't get.
You got a grant for the bridge that negated easement?
Well, the bridge would be on our property and not need an easement. The reason we need a bridge is because the walk around into their. And so we'd have to build a bridge on. And so, this is, 2 years ago, we looked at similar project and the engineering, et cetera, 15 grand, probably 20-25 now. That was done that was similar to this bridge at another location was 60-70. So we're at 100 grand for a bridge. But anyway, this isn't a discussion about this is a discussion about should we engage with a grant? Eagle View, I found in the old documentation that Michelle said that there has been preliminary work done doing a. Should we engage with a? So take the material I've got, right? If these things become available. But
I think so, I don't wanna get ahead of myself, but. Site consultant did for us with all these fronts. Wonder if we need to do that,
You mean an update to the Beckett study?
some type of study there, and then pull. These things we need. Holistic strategy, like a better word.
A sense we have.
Okay.
It's old, but I mean, I think the first thing I would want to do is everybody in the group needs to be familiar of that 2012 study. And like, for example, on the wetlands, it was a magnificent study with a 3-story building, observation point, and so on and so forth, which is
Yeah, you asked, I would agree.
millions and millions of dollars. We're not going there. We're not sure exactly whether we're gonna get a boardwalk out of it.
Well, then use that and pull out a handful of projects.
Well, right now, those projects we're moving forward on wetlands. We have Eagle View, which to me is a good one. Glen was one. Langland is done. That was done 5. So I mean, they've been ticking some of those things. So I mean, so basically I took 3 projects. Well, you got $10,000 in your budget. We guesstimated when we were talking trails that the
2,500
grants 2,500 each.
But it depends who you're going for, like if you're going for community fund,
It's nothing.
it's pretty easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you asking us, what are you asking?
I'm asking us, should we engage with a grant writer right now, pick a project and tell them, write up the grant, give us materials that we have, so that if something becomes available, we throw it in there, and should we pick one that we believe would be non-controversial, like the Eagle View, because I don't think there would be any objection to that one versus Glen, which has got a lot of baggage.
Ecoview, wasn't money that was stopped us, it was parking stopped us.
But you have Feldek, so
Veldeck people will, where's Dave when you need him? Veldeck people actually threatened court action just for a pathway that was worn through the reeds because the duck hunters were working. They say that they will, there's a rescission clause that if we do anything to that property, and this is something, of course, to be discussed with attorneys, what do they mean by you can't put any structures? They wouldn't, the understanding was that somebody did reach out to the descendant of Harry Feldak. Feldak's descendant said no to parking. And that she would,
in the
parking area that we have, you know, that wasn't my project, but I was there and there wasn't enough parking to support somebody, and the MDOT, I'm just saying that parking was the stop, it wasn't money.
So you're saying, seeing another property adjacent to it? I mean, I'll find out from the Feldek family, because we have to talk to them, was graduating. Yeah.
Let's talk outside this meeting about what I have been told, and I have asked for years to be able to speak directly with this person, and I never got permission, so if you're going to do it, you should know what I was told, but.
So at this point, do we have any? Should I ask you to review the Beckett Rader studies to discuss this next month? Go ahead.
I think we should take a handful of projects, more than one, and bundle them together. Stuff.
But-
On. We agree. Standpoint, we've got the same details together. So whatever we do, I would do more than one.
I don't disagree with that, but we have, and you guys can make revisions all you want, we have not asked the public currently what they want. You know, I do have the survey out there for the shelter. We haven't highly publicized it because I was kind of tweaking the format of the survey, and I think we've gotten it there. I will tell you that a member of the Manistee Foundation, Community Foundation Board was at the park during the field trip. And she said, I think that the picnic shelter there would be a no-brainer for them. But I just think we need to put the horse before the cart and make sure that we are actually taking on grants that the public wants. Now, you know, maybe we don't have to do a huge deep dive with focus groups, but maybe we at least publicize the survey that is already written where we're asking them, what do you want?
Let.
Survey. Each surveys. Stuff like. Each survey, and people rate them, and you get an idea of what. He's saying make a bundle of. We did a neat survey, the public said these are the top. And here.
What you're
Surveys aren't hard
saying
to do.
is right. So my little tiny survey with 16 people responding, I've already learned a couple of things about how to survey people. They don't want us to ask general, like, when I asked just a shelter, they're like, they wanna know, well, how much is it gonna cost? What is it gonna look like? They want things that are partial. I thought that, it would be nice to just say in general, do you like the idea? And then we'll develop it with the public in concert. But it didn't really, the feedback that I've gotten from this area, they went a little more detailed. So that's it, yes. So if we pulled out a Beckett and Raider, so if we use the Beckett and Raider ones, those are perfect. I think that people will be able to do thumbs up, thumbs down, plus within the survey, it's easy to rank. That's one of the things. I mean, that is technically very easy to do. So,
Just a quick question to clarify what Rick's asking and then what you are presenting. What is the difference between focusing on one or bundling? What is the pros and cons to bundling?
It's the exact same questions. Are you a township? Are you a company? Are you this? Are you that? There's a lot of.
Two, we may not be able to submit them because we might not be in a cycle, so we got them on the shelf already done. So as funding opportunity comes, we pull it off the shelf, submit it, and we have a rotation. Vic's trying to get in to unlock some of these dollars for the community.
It's, that funding rotation is critical, because they have. And they're like, okay, it's December 1st, or whatever, well, looking and it's past December 1st.
Talked months ago where we shot.
We did, and one of the things we've done is we found the Beckett and Raider survey is that we have a PDF master file. And so, we would need to figure out how do we actually, this monster,
to have that on the website posted and then ask them to, read this. So it's embedded or it's doing whatever that thing is for. Oh, I thought you were talking about the little happy packet, the 2012, not the study, just the one that's a couple pages. You sent it to us. Same thing you sent to us.
You say a survey's gotta be less than test.
this.
If you post it there, then just beneath it, you can click to get into the survey. It doesn't have to be embedded. I thought,
Meeting site that's smart.
no, I thought that one of the attachments you sent was the information.
Yeah. But literally.
No,
So that great PD.
just as that. That's what I'm saying, though. We don't need the big one. You have pictures. That's what people they're gonna wanna look at the picture.
Let's take some time and go through some. Yeah, we're gonna close it. Yeah. Species is covered by a committee.
Sleep. Stuff.
So this is Zozo, but that's a village.
So it looks like a boardwalk. There's a path right here. Was that something that we didn't want to do or we couldn't do?
Al is the one that, unless you can reach the,
I wasn't there in 2012, but I can tell you that those things, we're already struggling with the sand shifting, with just trying to keep the parking lot. I don't see how you would.
this was presented. including this
Yeah.
major concession stand and so on and so forth. Huge pushback from the city
Possession stand.
for the concession and for the major development. They said, keep it simple.
Yeah.
This is a natural thing, leave it natural, and they had settle on, single on, see what you want.
I'm just curious.
In the
I
bathroom.
wonder if that walkway is all simple. Do you get rid of the? I didn't even know what that was. I was just looking at this. It was just intriguing to me.
Yeah, given the shifting sand, it's unbelievable. I mean,
That's okay.
yeah,
It looked pretty
I
interesting.
would say at this point with Langland, let's do maintenance and get, worry about, let's pick something that's new because Langland is used very,
I said,
and then that gets us back to, what did you say, Tyler? We have wetlands, well, wetlands we're moving forward on.
And what's in this little.
Was a North Point one there as well, and I had a little pavilion on the opposite side of the park it's not there, but I have it somewhere. Maybe it's my, find it.
They are.
So there is another one, but also we're already working on, picnic shelter there. So.
So, this is one of those.
4 projects.
I think we take it all in lines. Figure out. What it is and how we determine the input. and everything.
When you say we take it offline, who has the,
I don't know what that means either.
well, if we're going to have subjects that we propose to the public, someone needs to develop those projects or find those projects, put them in a form that could be displayed on the website, survey. I mean, there's work associated with finding these projects to present to them. I've got something.
Put together, if we get the go ahead here, something more concrete for, I mean, I don't know what the bidding out is, but Brett was in the, with me. And because he was picking up the signs and he's willing to put together a budget and schematic for picnic shelter. That we
Okay,
can
but
then take.
what we're talking about is developing for grant right several
Right.
projects to
This is-
present.
Well, that is one of them.
But so to lead,
We have funding for, they gave us
Well-
funding.
Yes, according to Brett, it's probably not enough to do so, but like I said, I believe we would have very strong support.
Let's talk about using the grant to this fiscal year and position as we did, that we should not using the money that we have. What I'm hearing is we really need to get public input. In order to get public input, we need to provide them detailed plans. Where are the detailed plans and what are we gonna present?
I will take the lead on doing the picnic shelter, because I'm already there, so if somebody else does something.
Well, so we identified. Yeah, Eagle View, Glen.
So we don't need a grant writer. CC. He's done them, I've done two, I mean, did you do one?
Or we could have a grant writer do it.
Yeah, you're not worried about
Okay, now I understand what you're saying.
it. I'm worried about the big one. Look at the MCCF money that they gave out. I gave, it's a fortune, and here we are again. So somehow or another, I'd like someone to say, okay, if we need to get input from the public and we need to present them something, I'm gonna develop something and bring it back to the group and say, how about this? And we'll all agree. So this point, I'm tabling it because we've got.
Go ahead and, did everybody look at the strategic survey that I did have, at least to give a, to just get it out there and see, you know, initial.
CW portable toilet, if you just talk to Mandy, June, July, August is what we got budget for. Okay, so. So. What's going on? We now have. Big section of new walkway coming with benches. And. The best way to handle it is with a sweeper. It's a fairly significant capital investment, and so I probably am gonna need to do a multi-year. Just to. To the. Itself, so, I'm gonna, I think I need to talk to Jen, just to understand. Just. Sample last morning.
What about City of Manistee? They own sweep.
Sweeper from Cal, you know, it's a street sweeper. I don't know if it would work out at Langland.
Sweeping.
It's I can ask,
Sweeper?
It's just wrong. They put
think that
it,
might
they
be
have a
too big,
machine.
because it's
It's
lightweight
on it, and
plastic,
then they
so it
separate,
makes
just take a
sense.
sweep ball and then they put.
I'll explain
Might
what
as well
the
ask.
application.
This
I know we bought a used one from Calava, and I don't know if it would work for you folks.
With buying it, then you got to store, place to put it. Maintain it.
This would be, the vendor would buy, he doesn't wanna buy it unless he has a multi-year contract. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean. Somebody wants to call, I mean, you suggesting we ask Fantasy if we can put it on a weekly basis?
Lease it from, we send somebody up here for a small charge. Just saying.
Will you give them?
Yep.
Fantasy Public Works?
Yeah.
Steve.
And Vic, Mickey is talking about consulting with Wayne Village regarding a local item, to see if that would be appropriate.
They could go down in the sand.
Yeah, I don't even know.
It's used for streets.
Yeah,
It's like a
So
big
then
truck.
it's gonna be too
It's
big.
a gigantic.
Oh, is it one that comes up my street? Oh, yeah, no.
What about the?
It has to be a small, like a
Yes, sir.
snow blower sized thing, or?
It's different than that. He has, it's kind of like a lawnmower machine. You stand on, it's got a big machine on it that normally has a bucket. But you can take the bucket off, the 2-foot bucket, and then, yeah, no, that's not that.
That isn't gonna
Okay,
go
Mickey,
down in
don't-
the dune.
Don't ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something on the front of a.
First
Let's not
building.
ask.
I didn't see it, I don't know.
Oh, well, then forget the city, cause they don't have.
Get to drive.
Well, then.
So then we're off.
So we're getting proposals for the painting the south gazebo and. This is something we have approval for, I just haven't had time to do it. Thinking of. Specific bid and tell them, I'm gonna take your bid. He's willing to do that. It's for it, and I'll see what we can do. And then I have to send a letter to the family and say, this is what we plan to do. Are you okay with? So. just doing gazebo, which I would bring back to this group, because apparently the gazebo is in disrepair and, you know, something that doesn't as easily get damaged. Well, what's out there right now is supposed to be a historic thing. So I think there's more to just getting an estimate for repair. So we'll get whatever that estimate is, and then we'll bring that to the group for you to review and discuss. So we surfaced his initial review and when we first joined. And Michelle suggested also that we do that at the same time of looking at the existing plan. And in my notes to you guys, I said, I certainly don't have a position today, given the fact that we struggle to get meetings. This is a very lengthy discussion. Should we have a separate Zoom meeting halfway through this, or can we go through the rest of the agenda as quickly as we can and then come back and revisit this?
I'm okay having another meeting.
I just want a clarification why we're bringing it up. Season. So Paul and I did go through it, we did address some.
So we can go through it.
So,
It's not. I don't mind. Signage or whatever. I think there's a lot of opportunity, spend a lot of time and do it. We really didn't have any conversation. I just presented it online. Wasn't here. There's really no collective thought discussion. Some signage upgrades, what have you.
and I guess we should talk about offline because before you did that, we had years of studies out
Sure.
there.
Yeah.
And you weren't aware that we had a master plan, you weren't aware that the Traverse botanist had done an evaluation of the plan. You weren't aware of all the activities that were going out there. So I know that was your first time going there in November before we had the maintenance person. So I don't know that it would really take that long, but I'm happy to go through and let you know what we have done.
Agenda,
Yeah.
go through his and we don't have to wait. So,
Just right at that point there, how do you guys feel about, since I was the only one there during this done, how do you feel about getting the rest of the management plans on the website? I can get them out and
on that,
they're done. I mean, for the most part, they're done.
so that presented should review. Because of this very discussion, I sent Rick's study out to everybody, and then I also attempted to send the master plan. It's too big.
Too big.
So, if you go to our website.
You sent a link though.
Yes, and you go to Parks, Township Parks. And then you go to North Point. That's- So. When we
We'd either go there. The two places.
Okay, so that's something that we need to understand, is which of those do you want? And then in terms of this one, it's what it is, but right now we've decided that instead what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at Rick's. So let me go to. Is it right in front of me, guys? Rick.
Fine. I was going to the end of the suggested improvements.
Okay. So let's go to that.
And on page, what page am I on? So I was just gonna outline. First was the second one, upgrade core bird watching activities. Introduce platforms, photo blinds, rotational birdhouse repeat initiative. Since this bird. So. Shelving. So it is, you got signage, you got everything. Is there an opportunity to upgrade that to a best in class sanctuary?
So let's talk about that. So what do you think?
Well, I think,
How would you make it perfect?
the reason I went out there is I think it's pretty close to perfect now. I really like how it is. And the thing is, you know, there's a lot of open habitat there, which is really great. People that are getting to this. There's forest, it's kind of a savanna, juniper, cherry tree thing. I think what we're doing, you know, managing the habitat out there to make it better for wildlife is good. I think, you know, when I go out there, I think the number one use.
It's just species inventory. How,
So I talk to people about photo ponds and updating the birdhouses and all that. So for me, I don't know that much about it. You're more into that rustic type, I noticed, you know.
Silence.
So-
Yeah, photo blinds work when you have usually wetlands. Okay. Cause so you have to have a kind of habitat that's bringing in, you know, ducks and shorebirds and a bunch of things, cause photo blinds don't work well just in a forest. You know, there's just not that much activity.
And how about the condition of the birdhouses? So you're all good with it?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, there's a lot of tree, you know, bluebird houses, tree swallow
The
houses.
physical, and it's been a while since I was out there. A couple of them were in disrepair,
Yeah.
I thought, and maybe that's how they're shown.
You and your husband have been working on those.
Chelsea?
Yeah. As an outsider coming in, I would like to see I feel like our time is valuable every month. The time that we put into this. The work that's being done at North Point attracted me to coming to volunteer. And I have put easily 20 hours into North Point in the last couple months. I have walked every single trail. I have taken my dog, my family, and at least 100 people from out of state, including just last week. So the time that I've invested, I would personally not like to see a youth play area, mountain bike path, or a disc golf, right where I saw some of the rarest things that I have seen. So I think that the work is being done. So I would like to see us use this time differently, if possible. Besides debating back to something that seems to be polar opposites.
Okay, so in other
This
words,
study, my
yeah, so in
other
other words, it's a natural area at
It
this
is a
point,
very
and some of the things that you're referencing would be better served, like in the village where they have.
Absolutely great ideas, absolutely
Yeah,
great
playgrounds.
ideas, but put them someplace where they are used. like people would. People who dog walk at North Point live on North Point. I don't take my dog to North Point. My goal is to go and find with my binoculars without losing my expensive it's glasses, a rare bird. And also to be quiet and support. And so when I look at this and then I look over here and I look at some of the other things, there is just so much energy being put in this summer into big projects that we do need to all come together with. So I would say, please, I mean, take this offline, maybe?
I think there, there's like questions, maybe we could go as a committee and do something online where we respond to the questions and, like question about mountain biking, I got ideas about it.
They were just, I don't wanna focus on that, one point. What was brought up to me when I did this is, it seemed like it was a vast area. Is there any other? That's when Vic gave it to me. I put this together. And two things, it's more upgrading what's there. And is there anything else to do? There was a multi-use discussion point. I know the focus is natural, but when you step back, is there anything else to do? That's why I said to do it offline. It's a separate thing.
Just some items of note, each goes, as we mentioned, some tree work that needed to be done. This has been told to move forward with it. Just some seeing boundaries.
Be going to bed, because we've had this experience before that someone chucked it, and someone just chucked it. And I even have an idea of who it might have been. So I should probably, next time I have the time, go scrounge around for it before I purchase it. So we had one trail marker that someone pulled out. I thought maybe I put the trail marker on an Indian grave or something. It just kept going. And every time it was a little further and we kept putting it back. Finally, it stayed.
True. Camera.
DTC has been. So these one of those, and then I have she was supposed to be on it, who's a significant land So I think, you know. It's,
Thing about the.
yeah, but
I did have a meeting with players. Tuesday at the headquarters up there. And, this is we've been calling this the Portage Weapons Project, but it's massive. And she showed me a map, and we'll get into this later as we get the committee going. It outlines in black what they look at, see, checked, point area. And it includes the Nature Conservancy lands up to Tower Dune, way out there, the Woods property. It's a big project that could connect all stuff.
the. There's more property that's likely to be donated to Nature Conservancy, which will be adjacent to that. To be across the road from the Woods property. The Woods property, if that indeed joins the documents, making this a huge project. So, the Nature Conservancy is going to, if the things progress as they're accept the donation of the companies that states. See, yeah, says of transferring ownership to GTRLC. GTRLC is not going to accept the Woods property until, or it's not going to pursue the Woods property, because the Woods family has said, we're not going to do that until we know. Things are scenes in the donor community. So, this one exists. So, it's more to come. State consumers view, and the assignments given us dealing with the encroachments, there's road right of ways that will have to be dealt with, et cetera, et cetera. All the. Starting after June 9th, at least serious discussions. Anything else?
Well, just, yeah, as I mentioned, that's, one of the first things that can get done, and the survey says they're set up to do this. They've got the attorneys that know how to do it. So they fundraising experts and go to the Manistee Foundation and see if they can get a smaller grant just to get the roadways vacant. That's the one.
Thank you for finding those things. Remember, I said that possibly happened. I know I updated that. So since last month, we had a new addition to that he was totally unaware of. So they said no. Eddie. She attempted to add him to a different committee. So that's why having one of you each month look at this is critically important, because those are the kinds of things that we're going to discover. But right now, I believe that shift is correct. We do want to add, below Jean, we want to add Mariah, because we actually have two members. And we had also talked we want to put. But this is a module supply by the, so some difficulty dealing with, just, you spot something and it's your turn and it's your turn last month. Did you look at anything or are we gonna move everybody back a month?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take Tyler's. Cause that
Copy
pay
paste.
has been crazy for me.
Move
I
back
Back
a month.
1 month.
Okay.
And keeping it clean and formed is really important because that's what we look stupid. But the other thing is ideas and suggestions. And I don't think we should end the discussion of, it would be great when you go to a park, you do the QR, you get information about the park. Maybe we could do the, this would
I think
be,
it's good.
you do the QR codes, right? Could you experiment with doing a QR code at North Point that takes you to that North Point page on our website?
That's the only thing I would say to build on with the QR codes is as you're putting the master plan online and putting it into the parks, if you don't put it in park planning, all of that will be able to get us more viewership. And
Right,
that's the goal.
So let me just be clear,
With the
now,
township.
in township parks, we would put this North Point, which would bring us to this, or do you want to go to this?
No,
No,
you know what people want? They want that map.
they want the.
To
Yeah.
this,
No, I think that going to the park, like we talked about last month, that's the only.
do you?
For 2 hours.
Beyond,
Well, it's just a matter of, again, getting a sticker made so we can slap it up on top of the one that's there now.
let's do that, yeah, we'll just do. The other items, the volunteer application that we never put, video application. You got 16 results or something like that, that's all we've gotten.
Well, remember, the only place it is in the park. I didn't wanna go big until I tested it. Like I said, I've already learned things. Week, 2 weeks.
We like having G, put it on. There's a like PLA thing or a Facebook thing.
Yes, post it on Facebook.
Yeah, let's try to get 100 or 500
So-
results.
Yes, that's good. I will say that Facebook slants to a specific generation, and one of the ones I'm really trying to get is the younger generation. And so I guess once I clean it up, I'll let you should have taken the survey.
Yep.
How would I know?
Well, again.
It's
but we're
anonymous.
not- I mean, members of the, know that.
Do like the idea of Facebook, even if it's a generational thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying no.
I think it would get hits right away.
Yeah,
So do
Oh,
you
yeah.
put in the survey age? What's your age?
it is in there.
Okay, so.
It's in there. And the other thing is we have no way, and this is okay as long as we're not,
Right.
we have no way of preventing someone
Thanks,
from
Gary.
doing it repeatedly. I have no way of preventing someone from doing it repeatedly, but if we're gonna get into that, that's a whole nother level. We'll have to hire an outside.
We have 10 responses and that's fine. If we have 5. So let's try to get 500.
I will,
Just to let you know, Network Connection,
Yes,
generational or not, has 7.9 thousand.
right.
yeah, it's a-
That's who I would like to.
Maybe
And
get
Al-
sample size and not worry about generation as much, just get as much,
well,
and that'll give you a trend.
I'm happy to do that.
You're going
But
to
I'm going
get
to-
age.
What I'm trying to do is get it to the school.
So make it a magic sweet.
No, just-
Pass. Just tell them that and they'll do it. So don't let perfect stand in the way of good.
Remember that a survey is, you can't direct how the outcome is. It is to survey the general
Yes.
population, and if you wanna focus on one thing, then you would go to right directly to
That's
there.
what I'm
But you
saying.
Need more input overall, and
Yeah, I don't have a, I don't know if I'm coming across as saying no to Facebook. I'm saying in addition to Facebook, I'm going to send it to the, that's all.
Can you start with Onekama Community Connection? Who owns that?
Gene,
Well, it's run by Gene for,
So can we have Gene do a link to that specific survey?
yes,
That would be great.
we need a week.
Okay, that's fine.
and ask her to pin it, so it stays up as it's up.
And long enough that the summer community is here too, so,
Gene could do that.
no, with that.
so pin it until what? July 31st?
People.
Is this summer?
Today.
Well, why don't we make it before the next meeting in time so I can report?
Well, yeah, but then right now, we're not getting the summer community comes through the entire month of June and July, right?
What's our meeting date in July?
Well, we have,
25th. I'll cut it off July 23rd,
okay, that's good. It's fine.
6
And
weeks.
that's okay, yeah. That's fine. Okay, language. Speaker the following week, so, you know. I think
She said that she called, talked to him, and she hasn't heard back. And so
we hadn't heard.
she hasn't heard, she didn't hear back from him. He said he had everything he needed. He hadn't heard back from him, so now she's just waiting for someone to tell her it's time to write the check.
So she's given him all the information that he needs.
Yes.
Okay. She understands it's the $500. Okay,
Yes.
great. And then we're waiting bids to repaint the south gazebo. At the township board meeting, we talked about the DNR. Much isn't gonna be until about mid-June because of the dredging. The changed officially and that we did to go. Secretary, and there's a third position. When Zoom dies, there's notes. Something about the water's not turned on, but I saw the did that all get resolved?
Water testing's ongoing.
So that's the chat status.
I sent my information to Jennifer and said, let me know if you want to do it before the field trip. I didn't hear back from her on. Sure. I got through the big, yeah.
Trees, anything going on there?
No updates, just wanna share with you that I've asked, Josh from Tour de Trees to seek out some of his community people who are traveling to do little presentations in the park, rather than continuously ask people like Tyler, Brian, and others to present, because I believe there's a tie to Manistee, that night. When they come through, they stay in Manistee, and I believe the Conservation Club. So there will be people who will present. I'm also reaching out to, somebody to donate, food, just little kind of treats. But no other updates. I'll keep you posted.
So, well,
August, Is it Wednesday? At 13th? Yep, and it's the 13th between 11 and 2. And my goal is to have a couple people who are international members to present for 10 or 15-minute presentations when they're stopping through, so that we can learn some stuff, not just educate them. Kind of help us.
Two-way street.
Two-way.
Traffic reporting, I want to bounce something off everybody. I collected the two counts that were out at Langland and of, or the two entrances, but the two main entrances of North Point. And then at the same time doing the geo fencing and then do a comparison of the two so that after a period of several months, we could say, here's what the GTRC type cameras give us, here's what the geo fencing does. And then we have a apples to apples comparison rather than doing stuff out at Langland, stuff at Glen, and maybe do some geo fencing. Is that?
It's a great idea.
All right, so I'll do the repairs on those. And then
We didn't have anybody to follow up on the geofencing, I believe, though. You offered that, did we?
well, did Shelley and you talk about that afterwards, where she said she might take the lead on that project?
That's great.
Yeah,
Those are
she has a husband that's IT technical, and the two of them had an interest,
You're just gonna.
She's not here. so we don't know.
She did apply.
She did apply.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were a little late. That's our correspondence.
So
We got
sorry,
an
I was late.
application. So the only thing I need to do is to get the board to, do the bylaws to say, yes, you can have more than 9, then boom, she's on good serve then. Species. So Tyler, what's going on with the inventory? Anything happening?
So they done the roller coaster. It's me.
Because they just talk at different points. The year is over. We'll present them the inventory and an estimate to deal with it at each of the points. Yeah, you think we'll get some new things in your bid? Site. Again, please give me ideas here. Snort. So what I'll do is I'm gonna build a website that I'm not going to publish, and at one of these meetings, I'm gonna spring it on you and say, here's what it looks like, then are you okay with it? And
Are you asking us to go outside of this monthly update? You want ideas from us? I'm sorry.
what I'm looking for is, I want to come up with some sort of thing on our website that gets people engaged. And like, what do we do? And bylaws will be there. The years. This is specifically about the.
So you're looking for content.
Yeah, and it simply would be a highlight, like, we resurfaced the parking lot and the trail. But making sure that your parks are, just what is it? And I mean, Michelle did all the events in the past, now we have an employee that does. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we'd have stuff all over the parks and we'd ask to get it fixed, it never, we have a vendor, gets fixed. So just those kinds of accomplishments, and then I'll put it in a way that looks pleasing, and then you guys will tell me I did it or didn't, or whatever. Right? Just send me your ideas of things that we've done. And strategic parts, so this is the opportunity to talk that, you have. This is another thing that I should discuss, should we have Zoom meeting, strategic survey, because it's one of those things that we just don't get a lot of time to get to. And I'm happy, to Chelsea's point, of trying to eliminate all the stuff that we have on the agenda. But it seems to be discussion about it. So,
I think it's a good idea. That's why I talked about the North Point kind of doing it offline.
okay, so,
Is it, we still have to be on Zoom and all that?
well, I just, so, no, we don't have to be on the owl, but I'm just saying,
If somebody's not here.
you're not here. I come here Tuesday through Friday every week. I don't do weekends. Some people do weekends. So we don't need to do a Zoom.
We are committee volunteers, so if there's more than one or two people discussing things out of meeting, it's not.
Open Meetings Act,
Open
where are we
Meetings
with
Act.
Open Meetings Act?
With the open meeting,
We just-
we do our. The section of allowing voting people who are not here, which is part of the Open Meetings Act. The reason that we allow that in our bylaws is because we are not a decision-making authority. That's all we, no. So we don't need to worry about it. And I'm just saying that I don't think we need to do the strategic planning. We need to be doing strategic planning on what we're going to present to the public in a survey.
No problem. Can we do a very mini, can you post the strategic survey such as it is, so I can kind of do it a little run like I'm doing with the other one?
Isn't it what you gave me? The strategic survey?
Yeah, but at one meeting when you weren't here, the committee said, we'll just put it up there for right now and just do a very small,
It's on the site.
yeah. Put it up just to try and get a feel for how it will work. It tests the functionality.
Make it open to the,
Make it open to the public, not really publicize it. Same thing as we just did with the picnic. If you could put it on there and
well,
we just,
just notifications, I notify.
she talked as a committee about putting it up and just doing kind of a test run. You weren't here then. But anyway, I would like to have some people, even if it's just the committee, use the survey before we go big with it.
Suggesting that we do is everybody look at.
They take it. I need people to actually take the survey. Because that's when I find out what the glitch is.
So I want.
So don't publish it, just send it to the committee at least and ask us to take it. So I see what, some of the features were new, want to make sure they were.
Okay, would you resend it to me? Sure. It's only the.
Missing.
Overnight. We came to the conclusion that they did not do that.
They only gave us the paper. They did not give us an editable file back then.
Yeah.
But I did get the names of the people who would have worked directly on it to try and reach out. a month just is too much to come out of our budget to store it. I have been able to work with Dave. Would say, we have a
Using
lot of
plastic.
plastic.
So storage is no longer an issue.
I would say it.
It's not usually so we have a
That's a bigger discussion.
big serious structures around Langland, which the sand is destroying. And the guy told Dave, I'm probably gonna refuse it. But so it's like, but he. Could probably do that to get the answer to the snow so that we could escalate it to the legislature and say these people are not being raised. And the. So much in that they couldn't actually sustain piece of equipment in there. So our infrastructure is being used by DEQ saying we can't do anything, we should do it by hand. So it's an ongoing issue and, I'm not sure what the solution is gonna be. Keep solutions. Seems good. Okay. German, so then. Speak. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Good job.
Sure, is that all, any other ask you out there that is thinking about window collisions with birds? And this is,